You hear all about Big Law and the top ranked law firms in the country, but who are these firms? How is that ranking even determined? And are they as big a deal as they're made out to be? Hey guys, I'm Angela Vorfall. If you're new to the channel, welcome. So happy to have you. In this video, I'm going to give you guys a breakdown of the top 100 law firms in the United States, an explanation of how that ranking is reached, and then stay tuned till the end for some insights into whether or not working for one is really something you should even be going after. But before we get started, be sure to hit that subscribe button, tap that notification bell so that you'll be notified every time we release a new video every single Tuesday. Let's dive in. There are two main sources for the top 100 US law firms, the Am Law 100 and the Vault 100. The Am Law 100 is the list of the top 100 law firms in the US by gross revenue. So for 2019, you can see the top 10 law firms are Kirkland & Ellis, Latham & Watkins, Baker McKenzie, DLA Piper, Skadden, Sidley, Hogan Lovells, Morgan Lewis, Jones Day, and White & Case. The Vault 100 is the list of the top 100 US law firms as determined by prestige or industry reputation based on scores from those in the legal industry. So for example, this past year, almost 20,000 law firm associates were asked to rate law firms on a scale of 1 to 10 based on prestige. Survey respondents were not allowed to rate their own law firms and were asked to rate only those law firms with which they were familiar. And the top law firms on that list are different than the Am Law 100. So you see Cravath, Wachtell, Skadden, Sullivan & Cromwell, Latham & Watkins, Davis Polk, Simpson Thacher, Kirkland & Ellis, Gibson Dunn, and Paul Weiss. Another cool feature of the Vault 100 rankings is that they break down the top 100 law firms by other features. So the top 100 law firms by region, by practice area, and best law firms to work for example. And that's really helpful so that you can look where you are in law school, what market you're looking to work in, and see what the top law firms are in that market area, because those could be very different from the top 100 law firms nationwide. A perfect example of this is that when I was in law school in Dallas, I had never even heard of Cravath, which is ranked #1 by prestige, but that makes sense because they only have offices in New York. So if I had wanted to stay and work in Dallas, Cravath wouldn't have even been an option for me. A newcomer to the law firm ranking game is Above the Law with their Above the Law Power 100. Now, Above the Law, or ATL, is a really well-known name for legal industry news, but hasn't done rankings for very long, just since 2015. And the Above the Law methodology is much more nuanced. So they say that they blend objective data points like changes in headcount over time, promotional prospects, number of women partners, with more subjective feedback from over 20,000 associates, partners, and other members of the legal community. And the goal that they state for their ranking is to get a more complete picture of each firm, encompassing employee satisfaction, compensation, reputation, desirability as an employer, and data-driven measures of firm growth. And so the top 10 law firms for 2018, which is the most recent year available, is Wachtell, Williams & Connolly, Quinn Emanuel, Davis Polk, Covington & Burling, Simpson Thacher, Cravath, Kirkland & Ellis, Debevoise & Plimpton, and Latham & Watkins. So some very similar names to the other list and some newcomers. And for all three sources, the Am Law 100, the Vault 100, and the Above the Law Power 100, I'm going to link the top 100 law firms by each source in the description below so that you guys can go check those out. The next question is, are the top 100 ranked US law firms the only big law firms in the United States? And the answer to that is no. Big law is a much more subjective term. There is no official industry definition for it. And so generally speaking, when people refer to big law, they're referring to law firms that pay market rate salaries and bonuses and require market rate billable hours. And so yes, that's going to include those top 100 law firms, but that's going to include a whole lot of other law firms as well, including smaller boutique type law firms that can sometimes even outpay market salaries and bonuses and out-require the market yearly billable hours. So now you know who the big players in the US legal market are, who those top 100 ranked law firms are, what big law firm criteria really means, and then the next question is, do you want to work at a big law firm? Should you aspire to work at one of these places? And that's going to be a very personal decision for each individual, but there are some pretty consistent advantages and disadvantages to working in big law that you're going to experience regardless of where you go. And so the advantages are name recognition. So people in the legal industry are going to know who that law firm is. They're going to know that they're well respected and that they're prestigious, and that is going to give you clout in your professional professional career. Similarly, it's going to give you CV strength. So regardless of where you go afterwards, you're always going to have working for that law firm on your CV, and that's going to help you with lateral opportunities to other law firms or even to in-house positions, government positions, nonprofit positions, things like that. And third, and hugely for most people, is it's going to give you a big paycheck. And the disadvantages are just as well known. And number one is going to be the long hours. And so I actually made a video that I'll link in the description below detailing not only the average billable hours, but also how many hours in the office that translates into. So you guys can see what it means to work at a top-ranked law firm or a big law firm in terms of day-to-day work and time in the office. And then the second disadvantage is going to be the kind of work you're doing. So generally speaking, if you work at a big law firm, at one of these top-ranked law firms, the first couple of years, regardless of what practice area you're in, is going to be more menial work because there are going to be a lot of other associates and there's going to be sort of a trickle-down job association, work association system as compared to a smaller law firm, for example, where they're going to have fewer attorneys, and so it's going to be more of an all hands on deck sort of approach. And so you're probably going to have better, more substantive experience early on because just by sheer numbers, they're going to need your help and you're going to be learning by doing. Whereas in a bigger law firm or a top-ranked law firm, you're generally going to have to work the grind for a couple of years before you're given those more substantive opportunities. That's it for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, let me know by giving it a big thumbs up and commenting Tribe On in the comment section below, and share it with somebody you think would find it interesting. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe. Click that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to see new videos every single Tuesday. And if you guys are interested in joining a community of other lawyers and aspiring lawyers, then head on over to Facebook and join the Law Tribe Network Facebook group, where attorneys just like you, aspiring attorneys just like you, are looking to make connections in the industry, answer questions, and generally give feedback and motivation to help create sustainable and fulfilling legal careers. So that's it for this week. I will see you guys next week in the next video. Thanks so much for watching and have a great week. Bye.